Heartwarming discovery. The janitor's 12-year-old daughter fixes a CEO's system crisis in minutes. Inside the bright glass walls of the bustling corporate office, a tangible energy buzzed. Employees dashed past each other, heels clicking on polished floors, clutching coffee cups like lifelines. Amidst the sea of tailored suits, 12-year-old Lily quietly observed. Her father, James, the janitor, worked tirelessly, mopping and tidying, determined to support their struggling family. With her tech-savvy mind and imaginative spirit, Lily often daydreamed about a life far removed from their cramped apartment, one filled with opportunities. One afternoon, while fiddling with her tablet, the piece shattered. An alarm rang out, screeching through the halls. The lights flickered, and chaos erupted. "The system is down," someone shouted. Employees panicked, eyes darting, unable to believe their world was crumbling under a software failure. Claire Parker, the CEO, tore through the chaos, frustration etched on her face. She had built this company from the ground up. She couldn't let it all slip away. As the tech team analyzed the malfunction, Lily watched with wide eyes, heart racing. She recalled a school project where she had looked deeply into how systems work, crafting her own simple code. Desperation bubbled around her. With her innocent determination, she squeezed through the crowd, approaching the flustered tech team. "Maybe I can help?" she whispered, but her voice was lost in the tidal wave of frantic adult chatter. "Not now, kid," one tech expert grumbled, waving her off, eyes glued to the screen. Others whispered anxiously, dismissing her as just a child. Each dismissal chipped away at her confidence, leaving a tight knot in her chest, but she remained undeterred. Working silently, her father caught sight of her in the crowd. His heart raced with anxiety. What if they pushed her away? What if they failed to see her spark? Suddenly, Claire's frantic gaze landed on Lily, and against her instinct to dismiss the young girl, she felt a twist in her gut. Could this child know something they didn't? The clock was ticking, and every moment lost pulled the company deeper into chaos. "What do you have?" Claire asked, her voice heavy with urgency, her privilege crashing down around her. Lily took a breath, grounding herself. "I remember in my class, sometimes systems just need a reset. It's like when my tablet freezes." A wave of silence followed her bold words. Skepticism filled the air, but desperation grew. The room reflected unease, and for a moment, it seemed as if the very future of the corporate world awaited her insight. Claire finally opened her mind, a flicker of belief shining in her eyes. This was it. This was her moment to step up. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Everyone held their breath, the room pulsating with tension. Lily focused deeply, her mind racing through possibilities. With newfound confidence, she laid out her plan, and the tech team began to adapt. As they followed her lead, there was a moment of stillness, and then a glorious rush of clarity. The system lights blipped back on, and it's working. Applause erupted among employees, a wave of relief cascading through the office. In that moment, everything changed. How would they handle the newfound attention? Could they embrace this unexpected spotlight, or would it expose their struggles? Tension filled the air. Could they truly thrive, or would old prejudices weave their way back in? Lily's heart raced with hope, but the lingering question hung heavily. Was this just the beginning of their journey? Lily stood in the midst of relief, wild applause echoing around her as if the walls themselves were clapping. Her heart swelled. People she had only ever seen from a distance now crowded around her, faces shining with gratitude and excitement. Claire, beaming with a mix of awe and admiration, knelt beside her. "You saved us, Lily. You really did." James, still clutching his mop, beamed with pride. His daughter had done the unimaginable. She was no longer just the janitor's daughter. She was the hero. But even in the glow of success, he felt a flicker of concern. Attention may bring opportunities, but it also exposed vulnerabilities. As the applause died down, The sharp clamor of phones buzzing cut through the moment like a knife. Emails piled up, messages flooded in, and the company's executives began buzzing with ideas. "We need to make a statement," one of them shouted. "This could attract investors. This could turn into something big." Claire held up a hand, commanding silence once more. "Let us not forget what led us here today." A young girl had the courage to speak up. Lily felt her cheeks redden at the unexpected spotlight. She loved the thrill of helping, but she wasn't sure she wanted to be the center of attention. The room filled with chatter, ideas dancing around her like fireflies on a summer night. But the noise felt overwhelming. "Lily, would you consider giving a speech?" asked Claire. The suggestion hung in the air, heavy with expectation. "You have a gift. You could inspire others." Suddenly, doubt bruised her excitement. What if her words faltered? What if they didn't want to hear from someone like her? "I'm not sure," she stammered, glancing at her father for support, seeking reassurance in his warm smile. "Remember, Lil," he said softly, "you've got something special. People need to hear your voice." A recent memory flickered in her mind, her school project about believing in oneself, about finding strength despite fear. Maybe this was her chance to live those words. Taking a deep breath, she nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll try." As the crowd reassembled, she stood taller, the echoes of applause still vibrating in her ears. Claire stepped beside her, whispering encouragement. "Just speak from your heart," she urged. Lily approached the podium, the weight of so many hopeful eyes on her. She could feel the adrenaline match the beating of her heart. Hi everyone," she began, her voice wavering. Silence enveloped the room, and she swallowed hard, the anticipated words bubbling to the surface. "I just want to say that anyone can make a difference, no matter how small you are or where you come from." As she spoke, she could see nods of understanding, even tears glistening in some eyes. The rhythm of her heart matched her speech, gaining strength with each word. But just as she started to feel confident, her mind clouded with a new worry. Would they remember her words tomorrow, or just move on? The thought snagged in her throat. Conversation erupted again after her speech, and while many approached to congratulate her, one man stood apart, observing quietly from the corner. His intense gaze made her skin prickle, stirring a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Lily," Claire called, pulling her attention back, "we need to talk about what comes next for you." But the lingering presence of that stranger wouldn't leave her mind. Was he here to support her or challenge her? Perhaps this was just the beginning of a much larger journey, one where bright lights could either illuminate her path or cast looming shadows. And in that moment, Lily knew one thing for sure. She had stepped into a world where anything was possible. But was she ready to embrace it? The applause faded into a low murmur, and Lily felt an emptiness where the adrenaline had surged moments before. The thrill of the spotlight was turning into an unbearable weight. People still buzzed around her, voices filled with excitement, but it all felt like a distant hum, nothing more than white noise. Each compliment she received felt like a small pebble added to a pile that was becoming too heavy to carry. "Lily, amazing job," shouted one of the executives, his enthusiasm bubbling over. Lily forced a smile, nodding in acknowledgement, but her mind flickered back to that man standing in the corner. He hadn't approached her, but his eyes were piercing, analyzing her like she was a puzzle to solve. "Did you see that guy?" she murmured to Claire, who was still riding the high of celebration. Claire turned to glance at the man and frowned slightly. "I did. He seems serious. Maybe he is here for business." Lily frowned. Business? That word sliced through the air, bringing her back to reality. This wasn't just a moment of triumph. It was a doorway to something bigger, something she hadn't prepared for. "Hey," Claire said gently, sensing her distress, "you can handle this. You've done so much already." Still, uncertainty washed over Lily. She had always wanted to fit in, to be seen, but this level of attention? She was caught between pride and fear. What if she stumbled? What if they turned on her? What if they learned she was just the janitor's daughter after all? Just then, the man stepped forward, breaking through the crowd. His presence was commanding, and a hush fell over the room as he approached. The crowd parted like waves around a ship. Lily's pulse quickened. "Lily," he said, his voice low but resonant, "I'm Mark Thompson, CEO of Tech Vision. What you did today was nothing short of remarkable." "Thank you," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. We need someone like you on our team, he continued, eyes locked onto hers with an intensity that both fascinated and frightened her. Your skills are unique, and I believe we could revamp our system with your insight. Me? The word escaped her lips before she could stop it. But I'm just a girl? He interjected, a soft smile creeping onto his face. Lily, talent knows no age or background. You think differently, and that's what we need. Don't underestimate your worth. Around her, the excited chatter resumed, but a hollowness filled the space in her chest. She had spent her life feeling like she was in the background, a forced spectator. Now, that very background was trying to pull her into the foreground. Claire leaned closer to whisper, "This could be a chance to really make a difference, Lily. Think about it." But Lily's thoughts spiraled. But I haven't studied like they have. I'm not qualified. What if I mess up? Mark's expression softened. You'll never know until you try. Don't let fear hold you back. Suddenly, the room shrank, the din of voices fading into a muffled echo. Lily's heart raced at the thought of stepping into unknown territory. There was a world waiting for her, full of possibilities, but it intimidated her to the core, and deep down, she knew she stood at a crossroads. She could either retreat back to familiarity or take the plunge into something she never dared to imagine, trusting herself, trusting others. As Lily looked into Mark's eyes, the echoes of his words lingered in her mind. Could she really step into this new adventure? Would she be brave enough to follow through on the direction her heart was pulling her? What if this was just the beginning? What lay ahead, waiting for her to discover? A swell of determination started to rise within her. Maybe she wasn't just the janitor's daughter after all. Maybe she was destined to be so much more. With that thought, the next chapter of her story anxiously awaited her decision. Would she step forward into the light or turn back into the shadows? Just as Lily contemplated the weight of the decision before her, she caught a glimpse of the crowd as animated faces, so full of expectations. The thrill of their excitement mingled with her own anxiety, a bittersweet cocktail that made her stomach churn. Think about it, Claire urged again, her tone careful but encouraging. This could change everything for you. But everything felt so overwhelming. Could she really step into a role like that? She had worked hard, yes, but it had always been under the radar, in the shadows. What if she couldn't measure up? Mark's presence lingered like a burning candle, illuminating her doubts, but also offering a flicker of hope. The fear inside her rumbled, whispering all the reasons to back away. Yet, she felt a pulse of something else, a sense of possibility she'd never allowed herself to entertain. Lily, he said, drawing closer, I know this is a lot, but I see potential in you that others don't. His sincerity softened the edges of her fear. I want you to think about what you could achieve. For a fleeting moment, she envisioned herself at the helm of innovation, leading a team, being the voice that guided a company. It felt intoxicating, like fresh air after a storm. This is your chance, Claire chimed in again, her eyes gleaming with belief. You've been ready for something like this. It's time to step up. The murmurs of the crowd faded to a low hum again, her thoughts wanting more than anything to latch onto those words. With every heartbeat, she danced closer to the edge of a giant leap. Okay, she breathed, trying to quiet the chaos in her mind. What do I need to do? Just give me a moment. Mark stepped back slightly, scanning the room before beckoning her to follow him to a quieter corner. The applause from across the venue seemed to echo even more loudly in contrast to the hush enveloping them now. Really, Lily, I believe in you, he said earnestly. I've seen so many candidates who fit the mold, but you're different. You have a perspective that's rare. His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, easing the knots in her stomach. But I'm just a girl from, well, you know. I mean, what can I offer in a corporate world? You can offer insight from a view that is often overlooked, he replied, his eyes sparkling with possibility. You know real challenges because you understand everyday problems. That's key for us. Lily swallowed hard, her doubts meeting a flicker of growing confidence. You really think I can help? I do. He smiled, and it was contagious. You'll be surprised at what you're capable of. You're already making an impact, and this is just the beginning. Lily held his gaze, feeling rooted to the ground, yet stretched towards the sky. What had once seemed impossible now felt just within her grasp. She could take this step, or she could hold back, letting opportunity slip away. Her thoughts drifted momentarily to her father, the janitor who had worked tirelessly for years, and she felt that bond anchoring her. He always told her to chase her dreams, no matter how big or small. Okay, she said finally, drawing a deep breath that filled her lungs with courage. I'm in. I want to do it. Mark's face lit up, excitement radiating from him. Fantastic. We'll set up a time to get things going. As she stepped back into the lively crowd, the laughter and celebration surged around her again. But now there was a new energy coursing through her veins. She wasn't just the janitor's daughter anymore. She was stepping into her own story, finally ready to take control. Suddenly, a commotion at the far end of the room caught her attention, a frenzy of people surrounding a large screen. Curious, Lily started moving toward it, adrenaline kicking in once more. Something crucial was happening. But what? It felt like a call to arms, like destiny was shifting once again as it laid the groundwork for her transformation. What kind of crisis could possibly shake this celebration? And would she be able to help once more? Lily weaved through the crowd, her heart pounding with anticipation. People jostled for a better view of the large screen, their voices rising in a whirlwind of excitement and concern. She could make out flashes of information relayed on the display, data scrolling, numbers flickering ominously. What is going on? She asked a man standing nearby, his brows furrowed in agitation. They're having a major tech issue, he replied, glancing over his shoulder at the screen. The presentation crashed, and no one can figure out why. The whole event is on the brink, everyone's freaking out. Her breath caught in her throat. A crisis at a moment like this? The very atmosphere that had felt electric was now thick with tension. But as the panic buzzed around her, something within her stirred a memory of watching her father troubleshoot machines that seemed too far gone and always figuring it out. It was in those quiet moments that she learned how to look deeper, to think from unexpected angles. Lily stepped closer, her instincts firing. She pushed her way through the crowd, the people parting as she moved forward, drawn in by the urgency of the situation. She needed to know more. Lily, Claire shouted, trying to keep up with her. What are you doing? I don't know yet, she admitted, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling around her. But I think I can help. Mark suddenly appeared beside her. What do you see? His eyes were wide, not just with concern, but with curiosity, as if he suspected her potential. She squinted at the screen, where flashing warnings repeated like a mantra. They might be trying to load an outdated format, she observed. If they're using old software, it could be causing compatibility issues. The realization hit her like a rush of wind. Can I look at it? I have some experience with system errors. Mark nodded, his faith in her evident, even under pressure. Go for it. With her heart racing, Lily approached the podium where tech staff were scrambling, their faces reflecting confusion. Excuse me, she interrupted, catching one of the technician's attention. What are you working with? I might be able to help. The technician looked skeptical, then overwhelmed. We're trying to revert to last night's backups. But the server's not responding, and let me try, she said, her voice firm. Can you give me access? Tom was slipping away. She perched at the keyboard, her fingers dancing over the keys with unexpected familiarity. Instead of chaos, all she felt was determination. The crowd murmured, watching as she worked, a mix of skepticism and hope flickering in their expressions. In her ears, the sounds of celebration faded, leaving only the rhythm of her heartbeat and the clatter of keys as her focus sharpened. With each click, she navigated through the system, recalling snippets of information she gleaned from her father. Moments of light sparkled in her mind as she maneuvered with intent, adjusting settings, disabling unnecessary programs that slowed processes, refreshing connections, as if coaxing a shy dog out from under a bed. Come on, she whispered under her breath, feeling the unease of the room pressing against her like a wave. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the screen flickered to life, displaying the presentation freshly loaded. Gasps filled the room as the previously tense crowd erupted into cheers. Lily stood back, breathless, a genuine smile breaking across her face. The weight of her fears dissolved into a sense of accomplishment. Lily, you did it, Claire exclaimed, hugging her tightly. The warmth of the moment enveloped her. Mark looked over, admiration clear in his eyes. You just saved the day. As applause erupted around her, she felt a wave of realization. This moment was more than just a quick fix. It was her proof moment that solidified her belief in herself. But as she took it all in, she noticed a figure in the back whose expression was dark and unreadable. Just as she locked eyes with him, he turned, disappearing into the crowd. Had she just opened up a door she wasn't ready for? And what would be waiting on the other side? The commotion started to settle, but the excitement in the air lingered around Lily like a gentle warmth. Still wrapped in Claire's hug, she couldn't help but let out a laugh. I can't believe that worked. Of course it worked. You were amazing, Claire said, stepping back to look at her with pride sparkling in her eyes. That Lily's heart swelled at the praise. But just as quickly, the knot in her stomach tightened again. She scanned the crowd, searching for that familiar dark figure. Who was he? Why did he seem so out of place among the jubilant energy? She shook her head, trying to dismiss the thought. This was her moment. She had conquered tech chaos in a matter of minutes. The buzz of chatter around her buzzed with newfound energy. Groups began to collect, discussing the presentation that was so nearly lost. Mark nudged her gently, his expression still full of admiration. They're going to want to talk to you. Maybe even thank you properly. Maybe, Lily said, biting her lip. A part of her was excited at the thought, but another part felt a creeping unease. What if the man she saw earlier was someone important? Someone who might find out who she really was? Just a simple janitor's daughter with a little knowledge. Hey, where's the pizza? A man shouted, breaking through her thoughts. Laughter erupted, which felt both comforting and surreal. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, but that lingering shadow tucked itself back into her mind as people began to disperse, seeking new food or discussing what they had just witnessed. Lily felt the weight of many eyes on her. Some were curious, others full of respect. With each passing second, the excitement dulled, replaced by a dawning concern that hovered like a storm cloud. Lily, Mark's voice pulled her from her daze. Get ready, they're calling for you. She turned toward the stage, and a warm glow surrounded her. The event organizer stood there, eyes scanning the crowd as he waved her over. Everyone, let us take a moment to recognize an incredible job done by one of our own. The crowd cheered again, and Lily's heart raced. This was it. This was what she'd hoped for, wasn't it? Acceptance, acknowledgement, recognition. Yet that flicker of doubt nagged at her. As she stepped forward, the applause washed over her like a wave. She could see the joy on Claire's face, the admiration in Mark's eyes, but the mysterious figure lingered like a shadow. She wouldn't let him ruin this moment. Come on, Lily. Get up here. Claire encouraged, nudging her forward, a wide smile plastered across her face. Standing before the microphone, she took a deep breath. Thank you. Everyone, I just did what I love doing. Her heart raced as she peered out into the crowd, looking for that stranger among friends. Then, her eyes met his again. He stood at the edge, arms crossed, wearing an expression that stirred unease within her. But there was something else too, a hint of recognition. Before she could ponder what that meant, applause cut into her thoughts, warm and overwhelming. It felt good to be celebrated, yet something was tugging at her inside, urging her to dig deeper. The evening flowed on, full of good cheer and laughter, but whispers of her moment of triumph began to fade in the background. The tension in the air shifted as the familiar figure moved closer, his presence sending a ripple of anxiety through her. Without thinking, she snuck away from the cheering crowd, intent on finding clarity. The hallway felt increasingly lonely as she sought a quiet corner. But just as she rounded the corner, the man stepped in front of her, blocking her path. We need to talk, he said, his voice low and serious. Her heart skipped. What did he want? What had she just walked into? For the first time that night, excitement and fear danced as one inside of her. Lily's breath caught in her throat as the man's voice echoed in the stillness of the hallway. There was something both commanding and unnerving about him. She took a step back, weighing her options. Who are you? She asked, trying to sound braver than she felt. Her heart pounded against her chest as adrenaline surged through her veins. He stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. My name is David. I'm here on business, but tonight I need to discuss your talent. Lily narrowed her eyes. My talent? Is that what you call it? She could feel anger simmering just below the surface. His lips curled in a small smile, though it didn't reach his eyes. Yes, exactly. You just managed to save the presentation for a room full of executives. That doesn't just happen by chance. Thank you for noticing. Now, if you'll excuse me, she attempted to sidestep him, but he shifted to block her path. Wait, he said, his tone softening ever so slightly. I'm not here to accuse you or anything like that. I simply want to talk. What do you want from me? The knot of uncertainty in her stomach tightened. She glanced back toward the party, the laughter and celebration feeling far away now. I want to help you, he said, his expression sincere. You have real potential, and I believe you deserve more than this, maybe even a chance to work in a place where your skills will be valued. Her mind raced. A chance? Who is this man to offer anything to her? I don't know what you're talking about, she managed to say, even as desire and doubt warred within her. David ran a hand through his hair, a gesture that revealed a flicker of vulnerability. Lily, let us be honest. You know the systems others struggle with. Do you really want to limit yourself to just cleaning up after others? Your father's hard work doesn't dictate your future. Her defenses rose at the mention of her father. Don't bring him into this. She was surprised by the wave of emotion behind her words. He is a good man, David continued, his voice dropping to a gentler tone. But you have a gift, and it isn't just about cleaning offices. Think of what you can do with it. Shame washed over her. The truth echoed in her heart. For years, she had been simply the janitor's daughter, an invisible part of the establishment. But the thought of being recognized, of being something more, it was intoxicating. What do you know about me? She asked, suspicion creeping back in. How did you even find out? That's not important, he replied quickly, and she could see the tension in his jaw. What matters is what's next. I saw you at the event. I recognize the spark you have. I can help you cultivate that. Lily crossed her arms, her mind whirling. Could she trust him? What if this was some kind of trap? Yet, in her gut, there was an undeniable thrill at the idea of breaking free from the confines of her life. David stepped back slightly, sensing the conflict. No pressure, but think about it. You've made a difference tonight. Imagine what you could do full-time. I believe in you. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving her grappling with the enormity of his words. Questions bounced in her head. What if this was a chance at something bigger? What if she could prove herself? As she stood alone in the hallway, the laughter from the party faded into the background, and she felt both empowered and terrified. What did she really want? And was she ready to take a leap into the unknown? Just then, Claire appeared around the corner, eyes sparkling. Lily, where did you go? Everyone's looking for you. Lily hesitated for a moment, glancing back where David had stood. Could she tell Claire what had just happened? Would she understand? Facing her friend, she knew she had a choice to make. The night was still young, but her life felt like it was just beginning to shift. I'll be right there, she said, swallowing hard. But could she really stay just a janitor's daughter? As the echoes of Claire's voice grew closer, she took a deep breath, her heart racing. A decision loomed, one that would test everything she thought she knew about herself. Tomorrow could change everything. What steps was she willing to take? The laughter from the party spilled into the hallway, mixing with Lily's racing thoughts. Claire's vibrant energy was a stark contrast to the storm swirling within her. What is going on? You look like you've seen a ghost, Claire exclaimed, her mouth curving up in a teasing smile. Lily forced a smile back, but it felt like a mask. Just taking a breather. Claire tilted her head, sensing there was more beneath the surface. Well, come on. They just wrapped up a toast for the new project. As they made their way to the gathering, Lily's mind was still tangled with David's words. She had never thought of herself as anything other than her father's daughter, just someone who worked in the shadows. But now, she felt the flicker of possibility. What if she were more? They entered the ballroom, the music pulsing and lights swirling. Lily's eyes darted around, landing on the group of executives huddled at the far side, drinks in hand, a picture of success she had always admired from afar. Look, there's Tom, Claire pointed out. You know, the one who was raving about your turnaround on the presentation? You should go congratulate him. Lily swallowed hard. Maybe later. Nonsense. You've earned it. Claire nudged her, determined to push Lily into the spotlight. That moment, the crowd erupted into laughter, and Lily's heart sank. Suddenly, she felt an overwhelming urge to retreat back into the safety of the hallway, away from the scrutiny of success. Okay, I'll go, she said, reluctantly inching forward. As they approached the group, Tom turned with an inviting grin. Lily, great job tonight. You turned things around like a pro. Thanks, she mumbled, her cheeks heating up. The praise felt foreign, tugging at her insecurities. We should definitely find a way to bring you into the fold more often, he continued, and the others nodded in agreement. Hold on, Claire interjected with an enthusiastic smile. Did you know Lily was the one who saved our last presentation? She's amazing with systems. Lily's breath caught again. Each gaze was like a spotlight, and she could feel the weight of expectation. Is that so? Tom's interest peaked, and she could see the wheels turning in his mind. We could use someone with your skills. Have you ever considered working more closely with us? The question hung in the air. A part of her wanted to scream yes, to dive headfirst into this unexpected opportunity. But another part wanted to shrink away, clinging to the comfort of her old life. I'm not sure, she finally replied, struggling to find her voice. Just then, David appeared at the edge of the crowd, watching curiously. Her heart raced at the sight of him. Did he sense the shift within her? Lily, he called out, his gaze firm yet encouraging. Every opportunity starts with a yes. Just remember that. In that moment, the crowd faded away, and the world narrowed to just her and David. Could she embrace the unknown? She felt a familiar tugging in her chest, a blend of fear and anticipation. This wasn't just about her, this was about taking control of her own destiny. Excuse me, she said abruptly, breaking away from the group. Her heart thudded in her ears as she moved toward David, who stood waiting, a knowing look on his face. What if I said yes? She asked, her voice steady yet laced with uncertainty. David's expression brightened, but before he could respond, Lily caught sight of a flicker of movement behind him. A figure appeared, shadowed and unsure, making its way through the crowd. Lily. The familiar voice cut through the noise of voice she hadn't heard in years. A chill swept through her. Was it possible? She turned to face the unexpected apparition, a mixture of disbelief and hope swelling in her chest. Mom, what did it mean for her future with this unexpected reunion? Could her life truly be changing in more ways than she had ever dreamed? Lily's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the woman who had once been her entire world. The years melted away, and the crowded ballroom faded into a blur. Mom, she whispered, a mix of hope and fear threading through her voice. The woman appeared older, her face lined with stories untold. There was a hesitation in her steps, as if she, too, was grappling with the weight of the moment. Lily, her voice was soft, almost breaking under the strain of emotions. What are you doing here? Lily managed to ask, her heart racing. Her mother had disappeared years ago, leaving a void in her life that had never fully healed. Questions collided in her mind. What had happened? Why now? Claire and David exchanged panicked glances, unsure how to navigate this sudden turn of events. I heard about the project, her mother said, stepping into the light. I had to see it for myself. You had to see me, Lily insisted, fighting back tears. She longed to bridge the gulf of years, to understand the reasons for their separation. Yes, her mother whispered, now closer, almost tentative. I've missed so much. The party buzzed around them, but all that mattered was this moment. Years of confusion and hurt bottled up inside her, ready to spill over. Why didn't you come back? Lily's words felt sharp, almost accusatory. I needed you. Her mother flinched, as if struck. I know, and I'm sorry. I was in a dark place. I just couldn't face you. It was raw and painful. Lily felt every word claw at her heart. You just left. I thought it would be better for you. Better? Lily repeated, disbelief clouding her eyes. Do you have any idea how it felt to grow up without you? The tension was palpable. Around them, the party continued. Laughter, chatter, and music filled the spaces between them, yet they stood cocooned in their own universe of hurt. I was wrong, her mother admitted softly, tears glimmering in her eyes. I see that now. I should have fought to be part of your life. I'm so sorry, Lily. The sincerity in her mother's voice weakened Lily's resolve, the anger faltering as longing took its place. Her heart ached for the lost years, the memories that could have been. Why now? Lily asked, her voice trembling. Why are you here today of all days? I'm trying to rebuild, her mother replied, her hands trembling as she spoke. I found courage when I saw your name on the presentation. You are doing amazing things. I need to let you know I'm proud of you. Proud. It was a word Lily had craved for so long, but it mingled with doubt. Could she trust her? Could she bear to let someone back and only to risk another heartbreak? Proud, Lily echoed, shaking her head. After all this time, David, who had been watching intently, took a small step closer, offering unspoken support. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling torn between the girl who once idolized her mother and the woman who felt like a stranger. I don't know if I can just accept this. Just give me a chance, her mother pleaded, her eyes bright with unshed tears. I can't change the past, but I want to be here now. For a moment, silence enveloped them, the noise of the party dimming at the edges of her consciousness. The world outside faded again. Lily's heart felt heavy, a complex knot of hope, anger, and fear. What if she said yes? What would it mean? Let us start with a conversation. Please, Mom, I want to talk, Lily found herself saying, her voice steadying that a flicker of relief crossed her mother's face, but the uncertainty remained. Let us find a quiet place away from this chaos. As they turned slowly, the enormity of the change dawning on her, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this moment would shape her future profoundly. Just then, Claire stepped up beside her. You know, I'm still here, right? If you need me, Lily smiled weakly at her friend, grateful for the support, but her eyes lingered on her mother. Could they bridge the chasm in time? A part of her whispered that this was a chance and new opportunity. What lay ahead felt uncertain but bright. But the real question lingered in the back of her mind, one that would push her future into realms of excitement and fear. What would it mean for her career if she embraced this part of her life she had thought long gone? As they moved away from the party, she felt the weight of the world shift, teetering on the precipice of possibility. And a deeper voice echoed inside her. What if, this time, the choice was hers? Lily stood at the edge of what felt like two worlds colliding. The hum of the celebration played in the background, familiar laughter and chatter a backdrop to the pivotal moment unfolding before her. Her gaze flicked from the crowd to her mother, who now stood beside her, looking both fragile and determined. Can we really do this? Lily asked, her voice barely a whisper. Her heart pounded a rhythm of hope tinged with uncertainty, yet somewhere deep inside her, a flicker of courage was igniting. Yes, her mother replied, her eyes glistening. I know we can. I want to know the girl you've become, and for you to let me be a part of your life again. The sincerity in her voice felt real, but years of absence clouded Lily's heart. Could she trust these words? As the two walked toward a quieter corner of the ballroom, the bustling energy of the event faded, overshadowed by the weight of unspoken memories. Just moments ago, Lily had felt the warmth of affirmation from her colleagues. Now, standing with her mother, their journey was the stark contrast between aspiration and painful history. Tell me everything, Lily prompted as they settled into an alcove, the lights shimmering softly around them. Why did you leave? I made choices I thought were necessary. But they were wrong, her mother admitted. I battled demons that pulled me away from everything I loved. I didn't handle it well. Lily felt a swelling, knotted emotion, aching with the sting of years lost. You didn't need to leave, she said, her voice breaking. I could have helped. Her mother reached for her hand, and for a moment, Lily hesitated before allowing the connection. I know that now. Vulnerability etched across her mother's features. It wasn't just you I left. It was myself, too. I have no excuses, just regret. A silence fell, and within that calm, a tidal wave of emotion crashed over the hopes and hurt they had both held onto for years. You missed my life, Lily said, her voice trembling. I became who I am without you. I wanted you to see me, to be proud of me. I am proud, Lily. So incredibly proud, her mother replied, squeezing her hand tighter. You've turned your challenges into power. And tonight, seeing you stand as a hero, it broke me open in the best way. You saved that company. You saved a future. Lily took a deep breath, inhaling her mother's sincerity. Could she let herself believe in this second chance? She remembered the applause, the cheers, the energy she felt standing before hundreds, and the empowerment it sparked within her. The bravery had always been there, hidden behind the shadows. What if I want to do more? Lily asked, her heart racing with potential. Maybe I could help people like me be heard, to break out from the shadows and find their strengths. Her mother's eyes brightened, and she nodded. That's a beautiful ambition, Lily. You've lived it. You understand it more than anyone. Just then, Claire popped her head around the corner, her own joy lighting up the dim space. There you are? I was hoping to find you. Everyone is waiting. The laughter and celebration beckoned them back, yet Lily hesitated. She still felt tethered to this moment, the connection with the woman she had yearned for. "I just need a minute," Lily replied, her gaze searching her motheress. Claire nodded, sensing the depth of emotion surrounding them. "I believe in you both. Take your time." Once alone again, Lily faced her mother, studying the contours of her face that felt so familiar yet distant. "If we're going to do this, you need to be all in," she said firmly. "No more hiding. I promise," her mother responded, tears brimming in her eyes. "No more hiding. I'll fight for this relationship, for you, for us." With a deep breath, Lily embraced the moment, a clean slate stretched out before them, unmarred by the past. "Then let us step back in together. I have a lot I want to do." Just outside that alcove, voices rose once more, a celebration about to ignite anew. As they separated, both Lily and her mother retreated from the shadows of their pasts, stepping into the warm embrace of the future where uncertainty still lingered, but hope shone brighter than ever before. Lily took her mother's hand and led her back toward the party. This was her life. This was her chance, side by side with the woman she had longed for, both finally ready to face the world ahead. The crowd erupted in cheers as they entered, Lily's heart swelling with newfound confidence. The stage, the lights, the energy, all of it felt like it belonged to her now. And somewhere, amid this wild adventure, she understood she had the power to shape her own story. And with that thought, she smiled wide, excited for the extraordinary journey ahead. Now, listen up. This is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and transform you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and make this channel thrive. Comment your feelings about this incredible ending and what it means to you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and hear Lily's story. But don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel.